All right. So, sorry, my chat was all jacked up earlier. Not sure what happened, but let's see if it works now. So, go ahead and ask some questions if you can. I'm going to post something in here as well, and we will take them. Oh, good. I'm seeing them live. So I actually copied all the previous questions. So if you asked questions last time, I'm about to answer them right now. So here we go. How many people quit in your class and how many made it? Well, do the math. We had 128 start and we finished with, no, had 120 start, finished with 28. So it's a pretty high attrition rate, but it's pretty natural. I mean, between 70 and 80% attrition rate is very typical. Um, let's see, 17 years old. I've done football all my life. I'm fairly built. And since I'm going to be a SEAL, I've been doing swimming last year of high school to get out of my comfort zone. Good. Here, I've got a whole lot of good information for you. I want you to go to stewsmithfitness.com, click that articles link, and scroll down about 3 pages. There's a whole bunch of information on crushing the PST. You can search PST clinic, and there's a whole list of videos and articles I need you to read before you talk to a recruiter, right? Because it will help you, right? And you will crush it. You're to get your foot in that door, crush that PST, then go talk to a recruiter. I promise you, it will set you up, right, for smooth sailing in the delayed entry program. Otherwise, you're just going to keep failing PSTs every week, and nobody's going to take you seriously. All right, here we go. So, hey, Stu, thanks for your videos. Can you elaborate on using mental toughness after you are physically drained? I discussed that a little bit in the previous video. I will say that you have to have a very strong why. And what that means is, why are you doing this? Right? You must really want to be a blank to endure this type of pain and soreness and tiredness when you know you still have to keep on going. You're not done yet, right? So just get done, right? That is the goal. Whenever that mental toughness thing starts in. And you know what? If you're in really good shape, you don't have to engage mental toughness until later. That is kind of what I've been preaching my entire fitness writing career, is get in such good shape that you are not engaging mental toughness when everybody else is around you is, right? So you are competing because this is your zone right here. I can handle this zone. I don't need to suck it up and, gut check myself because I've already done all that. I built a high standard and level of fitness. So my mental toughness is not even engaged right now. Now, you get to a point, you stay up for 3 days in a row, I promise you, your mental toughness will be engaged. You cannot prepare for that, right? Hell Week is something that you can't prepare for, and I don't recommend it. It'd be like preparing for a nut kicking contest. You don't want to do that. That might be beyond painful, right? All right. So check it out. And you just got to push yourself, right? I would recommend getting yourself physically drained and keep going, right? Do something challenging. Try a triathlon. Try a 10K. Try a marathon, right? I mean, just something, right? But don't jump into it haphazardly without training, right? You need to get pushing yourself in order to build that mental toughness. Okay. Example of why I'm doing push-ups, I feel like I can't do anymore, because you can't do anymore. There comes a time when you physically can't do an exercise. That just happens. I mean, mental toughness, yeah, you're going to be a little bit of painful. Let's say you can only do 100 push-ups. You might experience pain at 90, right? And it's it's not injury pain, it's just discomfort. So, So just focus on, getting through that little point of discomfort, right? Let's see. I'm going to take your questions here in a minute over there. So I'm still reading the questions from last time. But let's say you can only do 100 push-ups, but you're pain at 90. Those last 10 are going to kind of suck, right? That's engaging mental toughness because your body's saying, I got to quit at 90, but you can do 10 more, right? Always try to add one more. Every time you think you're failing, add one more, even if it's a negative. That is the way to get your muscles up to be able to do more. But when you're done with an exercise, your body's going to just shut down. I mean, it's a physiological thing, just shuts down on that exercise. Now, can you keep walking? Yes. Can you keep running? Maybe. Might be very slow, but you can keep pushing yourself. You just have to keep up and find the fuel when the tank is empty. It's magic. I'm telling you, I don't have an answer for everything when it comes to mental toughness, right? You have to endure it yourself to find out why you are doing this. The biggest answer is you have to have a good why to make this happen. Let's see. Taking a break for a while says maybe training more is required. Yes, absolutely. Training more is required. Say from a mental perspective, I noticed that in my head, when doing sit-ups, every once in a while, I feel like I'm working really hard. You know what? That's fine. You should be working really hard. None of this is easy. I wouldn't say go do an easy workout to prepare for spec ops, right? You should be doing hard workouts and getting harder every day. How does one balance training hard, past pain, and not getting injured? That is probably the best question of the day, Bradley Ryan. Good job. Because I will say this. In fact, you can Google this. There's a fine line between mental toughness and stupidity. I wrote an article on it a while back ago, but check it out. Fine line, mental toughness and stupidity. You have to find out, right? Because here's the deal. I mean, there are events that you will have to engage mental toughness. And, you may have a broken leg, but you still have to crawl 100 meters to get help, right? So can you do that? Can you crawl 100 meters with a broken leg to go do that? You survived. That's not stupid, right? Now, if you run and keep running until you break your legs, that's stupid, right? So there's a fine line between mental toughness and stupidity. So let's see, a couple more. Mr. Smith, do you think joining Air Force Special Forces at 37 is a good idea? Do I have an email? Of course I have an email. Stu@stusmith.com. Which book would help me more? Well, I have a book called Air Force Special Operations for PJs and CCT and, all those. If you go to StuSmithFitness.com, I guarantee you will find it. Is mindfulness good mental prehab for PTSD? Absolutely. Absolutely. Anything where you can learn some resiliency is a great, great plan. Right. There's a lot of programs out there that, can help you prepare for the things that you see and at least learn some tools, box breathing and, other relaxing exercises, can help you with all of those things, writing, um, taking journals, things like that, that help you get it out of your brain. There's some skills called like name it and tame it, where you can actually discuss. And if you look at previous podcasts, we discussed this, where you can have something that occurred and give it a name, and your brain kind of finds a spot for it, right? Finds a filing cabinet for it. Versus it just floating around and like saying, what the hell just happened? How am I going to process this? By giving it a name, your brain can actually process that a little bit better. And it'd be a less obtrusive thought. It'd be less, the flashback. But yeah, there's some great science out there on that. So definitely look it up. What's a good stationary bike routine, or stationary bike? Stationary bike workout. I wrote an article on it. If you Google it, you can look at life cycle pyramid, Tabata intervals. If you do a search on non-impact cardio activity, put my name there, Stu Smith, you'll see elliptical, bike, swimming, rowing workouts that you can add to your training, right? Let's see. Does mental toughness come at the expense of physical health? Very good question. That's another great question. It could. Absolutely. You can push yourself so hard that you get sick, that you get hurt, and that's not good. So, like I said earlier, there's a fine line between mental toughness and stupidity. So, you need to find out when that is. And I guarantee you, you're going to find out. I mean, I know I have pushed myself to where I hurt myself. I don't recommend that. Um, and it's going to take, a few weeks or maybe a month to, get over that injury or pain or illness that you just pushed too hard on, and you should have just, not done that last rep or not run that last mile. There's a fine line between mental toughness and stupidity. One more time. All right. So it looks like we got some new things here. Let me start from the top with you guys. Lots of questions here. Okay. Some of you guys asked the same questions as last time. So which one of your books do you think's help you the most with Air Force Special Ops? StuSmithFitness.com. Check it out. It's there. I promise you. PJ route. Good route to go. I love PJs. They're awesome. Have the complete guide to Navy SEAL fitness. Came in. They are on their way to me. I know I'm back ordered on them, and I got a whole bunch of envelopes right here ready to go. I'm going to sign the books and send them out. They're already stamped and addressed. The day I get the books, they will be out. In fact, I'll make a post that they're here. I'll probably do it on Instagram. That's pretty easy over there. Just put a post that the books are here. So how many training hours per day in BUD/S? Let's say example day. I don't know. I mean, it varies. There's some days that are longer than others, but I would say your average day will be 6 to 6, roughly. There'll be some night events that will take that from 6 to 10, 6 to midnight. Some days you're busy and you might only get a couple hours of sleep before you got to do it again, at 5 a.m. before 6 o'clock evolution. So, their days are long. That's why I tell people all the time, there's no 30-minute gym routine that's going to prepare you for a day of spec ops training. You have to put in the time and build up your durability, build up your work capacity. And that means a lot of running, means some rucking, also means a lot of swimming with fins. You should be an endurance machine, but you should also be strong enough to handle logs on your shoulder, boats on your head, fireman carry drills of guys that are your weight or heavier, rucking, all those things. So you got to have strength to be durable. You got to have endurance to have work capacity. So you need to mix it all in there, right? And I have a program, been doing it for 20 years, where we touch on all those elements of fitness spread throughout the year. It's called periodization. In fact, if you do a Google search, 20-year periodization, you will find a great article on how to prepare yourself for hard physical challenges that require all the elements of fitness, which is, by the way, what tactical fitness is. If you're trying to be a tactical athlete in the spec ops world, you need to be good at everything. You don't need to be great at any one thing, and you probably will come in great at something because we all tend to have our strengths, but you need to turn those weaknesses into strengths really quick. Otherwise, you're done real quick. BUD/S will expose your weakness in about 2 hours. Y'all have any idea? Okay, some people are just getting silly. Don't waste my time with stupid posts on here, right? Don't waste my time with stupid posts on here, right? Don't waste my time with stupid posts on here, right? Don't waste my time with stupid posts on here, right? Don't waste my time with stupid posts on here, right? Don't waste my time with stupid posts on here, right? Don't waste my time with stupid posts on here, right? Don't waste my time with stupid posts on here, right? Don't waste my time with stupid posts on here, right? Don't waste my time with stupid posts on here, right? Don't waste my time with stupid posts on here, right? Don't waste my time with stupid posts on here, right? Don't waste my time with stupid posts on here, right? Don't waste my time with stupid posts on here, right? Don't waste my time with stupid posts on here, right? Don't waste my time with stupid posts on here, right? Don't waste my time with stupid posts on here, right? Don't waste my time with stupid posts on here, right? Don't waste my time with stupid posts on here, right? Don't waste my time with stupid posts on here, right? Don't waste my time with stupid posts on here, right? Don't waste my time with stupid posts on here, right? Don't waste my time with stupid posts First time listening. Thanks for great books. I'm 58. Using CBD oils for inflammation and recovery. If so, what kind of dose do you use personally? Yeah, if you're in the military, I don't recommend doing it because it's probably good. You may pop up positive for THC. I like CBD oil. Is it working for me? I think so. I feel less pain um, than I normally would at age 50. This is something else I like. Sore and tired. Really gets a magnesium rub. So especially when you're sweating profusely, highly recommend it. Put it right on those muscles. It's almost kind of like giving yourself an Epsom salt bath, but you're just rubbing it. So, like for instance, Tuesday we ran pretty hard and it was hot and humid. It was miserable. Sweat through my shoes. Probably lost 8 pounds of water. I had drunk plenty of water too, and Gatorade and electrolytes. Needed a little bit more because I started feeling my hamstrings and calves tighten up on me, and you can't have that if you're trying to swim. So that was a big help in loosening up those muscles and go. So, all right, let's see. How do you combat depression or periods of negative state of mind? That's a tough one. Um, I'm not a psychologist. Don't have those kind of answers. I tend to be fairly positive. I would recommend trying to do that. Right. Um, sorry. All right. Let's see. Stu, my buddy from France. Let's see. If you would consider intermittent fasting for weight loss, what eating window would you recommend? I wrote an article on intermittent fasting and keto. In fact, if you do a Google search, intermittent fasting, keto, Stu Smith, you'll find an article that I wrote on it. I didn't really put in particular windows. I joke with people all the time saying I intermittently fast 8 hours just about every night from about 10 a.m. until 6 a.m. or 10 p.m. until 6 a.m. So while I'm sleeping, I am fasting. But, I have a tendency of eating less. Um, and that is very helpful, right? I think we as a country, at least here in America, we don't move enough and we eat too much. So my little saying to counter that is move more, eat less. Whether that is you are intermittent fasting or you're just having smaller portions, at the end of the day, it comes down to how many calories you put in your mouth and how many calories you put on your feet, burning them, running, biking, doing something, right? Activity. So you have to move more, eat less to lose weight. I haven't really gotten into intermittent fasting other than trying it, for some research to write an article. But it's legit. I mean, it's a good way to reduce your calorie intake by the end of the day. You can either do that by eliminating a food group, which I don't recommend. You can do that by skipping breakfast, something I also don't recommend. You can do it by um, just eating smaller portions. So all three work. So find the one that works for you is what I'd recommend. If you're seeing results, good. Keep doing it. If I need surgeries to heal my legs and other things, should I try my best to keep the Navy from finding out about them? No, you can get waivers for surgeries. No need to lie. No need to, just not disclose something. Besides, they're going to find out if it's in your medical record. So, especially surgeries, they're going to see scars on you. Um, so, yeah, kind of weird. Let's see. Yeah, don't worry about that. It's going to take a little longer, so make sure you have all the proper paperwork for that. Is running in the snow about the same as sand? No. Similar, I would say, kind of. I don't really have any sand to train in. I didn't either when I grew up, but I found some. What I did was a couple things. I found a farm that had a plowed field, and the farmer let me run on the perimeter of it. I also found an old creek bed that was dried up, and was able to run on that. So worked out. But yeah, if you can find a beach, great. If you can't, find a hill, because running hills will help you tremendously on running in sand. It just gets your legs stronger. Let's see, Stu, on your ebooks, I printed it out. Good. There's an orange lightweight shoulder work on some days during this week. So I'm confused about what that is. That's because it's a hyperlink. If you go back to the ebook and control click that, you will see an article that pops up on explaining the lightweight shoulder workout. Right now, if you have a real book, like back here, you'll actually have all the pictures of everything of what the lightweight shoulder workout is, right? It's actually 5-pound dumbbells, done multiple different exercises, 6 sets of 10, and it works really well. But if you just try to Google it, you might even see a YouTube video on Stu Smith's lightweight shoulder workout where I walk you through it. You will, and you'll also find an article. Right? It's amazing what that Google machine can do for you. But usually in the ebooks, I also have it in the description of the ebook. So if I don't, I apologize. But anyway. All right. Thanks for the info. Also, for me personally, I'm nervous for buds. Everybody is. It's completely understandable. Be excited, be nervous, doubt yourself a little bit. That happens. Yeah, put it this way. Frederick, I'm excited for you, and I would do it all over again. In fact, I'm a little bit jealous that you can go do that, because it's a great, great job. Hey, Stu, what's good stretching routine you would recommend? I would suggest going to Google, Stu Smith stretching routine. That's the one I do. But there are many out there. Like I said, I tell people all the time, I have a way to work out, not the way to work out. So yesterday I did yoga. That was a great stretching routine. So find yourself a good stretching routine. Try it out. If you like it, keep doing it. Okay, let's see. I'm training for the SEAL PST. Should I eliminate my run on concrete or just go to sand? No. You should be running your 1.5 miles on a track, on a concrete, on a trail, because you may be thrown all 3 options, during your process of taking PST. So be able to run on all 3. Your 4-mile timed runs will be in sand, not necessarily soft sand, but hard packed, low tide sand. You need to learn the difference of getting to buds and getting through buds, right? If you do a Google search, once again, to and through buds, Stu Smith, you will find a great article on what is good enough, what are good scores, and you will be able to move forward from there, right? And actually get through buds. Let's see. Yeah, Jeff and I are doing another video here soon. Good luck. Glad you like them. How to maintain weight while having heavy workload, hard labor. Oh, yeah, you just got to eat more, right? There's no other option, right? If you're burning a lot of calories, you need to eat more calories than you're burning. Otherwise, you will not gain weight. I promise you. Law of thermodynamics does not allow it. You need to move more. If you're moving more, you need to eat more, right? Depending on your goals, instead of eating less, you need to eat more than you move. And you will gain weight. All right. So, all right, you guys can keep talking to one another. I see you guys are having a bitch fight over here in the comment section. So I don't really care to read any more of that. Let's see. Anything good here? Yeah. So I've been going for 25 minutes now. I'll take a couple more questions. How would you say a damaged rucksack loading ruck bucket would affect my ruck time? I was supposed to ruck 10 miles in 2 hours and 30 minutes, but came in later because my buckle on my ruck snapped. It would affect you. I mean, you'd probably be a little slower, right? If you can get a mile every 15 minutes, that's good, right? Kind of the minimum standard, though. So if you can get a mile every 12 minutes, that's much better. I would try to strive for that, just to be able to maintain a fast pace. Army SF 5'9", find it difficult to walk 12-minute mile. You don't. You probably can't walk. You have to do a shuffle. Don't run it. I don't recommend running the way you would normally run it, but you need to do a shuffle, which is kind of a shorter stride run where you're not walking, but you're not running either. You're kind of somewhere in the middle. I call it a shuffle. In fact, if you do a Google search on what is a ruck, Stu Smith, you will find 3 paces that I recommend you mastering. You should master the walk pace, you should master the power walk pace, and you should master the shuffle pace, because you can use all 3 of them in a very long ruck to reach your goals. But you have to be smart about it. You have to create a strategy around using those 3 paces. Otherwise, you'll either be way too fast and burn out, or you'll be way too slow and not meet the standard. So those 3 paces work really well together, right? So, all right, let's see. A couple more questions. What would be a good nutrition routine after buds? Are you talking about after a day of buds or after buds? Okay. We discussed it. If you go look on previous YouTube videos between Jeff and myself, we discussed nutrition after buds, recovery, because that's really what you're trying to do. You're trying to recover from a butt kicking cycle, right? So that's what you're trying to do. So we discuss it. Natural foods, high volume, right? So you get a lot of good nutrition in you. But there's a big laundry list of this stuff, that I can't just rattle out. More reference material. I would highly recommend good proteins, good fruits and vegetables, nutritious fats. That's a good routine for anything, whether it's buds or not. All right. I'm done. Got about 30 minutes. Thanks for coming by. I know this was originally about mental toughness. I realize 100% that it is difficult to teach mental toughness. So, it's one of those things you have to get out there and experience. So quit looking at posters, on making it you mentally tough. It's not going to do it. You got to get out there and do it yourself and push yourself. But be smart, because there's a fine line between overdoing it and hurting yourself. That's what you have to find, right? And progress into it logically. So there you go. Have a good one.